The European Parliament has been rocked by allegations of corruption. Belgian police raided the homes of a number of parliamentarians over the weekend, making at least 2 arrests. The MPs under investigation are accused of taking money from Qatar, allegedly to help burnish the country's image abroad. EU officials have not commented directly on events, but have voiced concern over any whiff of malfeasance.
The allegations against the Vice President of the European Parliament are of utmost concern, very serious. It is a question of confidence of people into our institutions, and this confidence and trust into our institutions needs higher standards and of independence and integrity. For us, it is very critical to have not only strong rules, but the same rules also covering all the European institutions and not to allow for any kind of exemptions. So it's a matter of transparency, it's a matter of very clear rules, and all the European institutions should abide to the same rules that we put in place.
President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen there. Well, let's cross over to London now, where our Rice correspondent Laurie Lard has more on this story and the other business news of the day. Good to see you, Laurie. Take us through the bare bones of this story, corruption inside the European Parliament.
And at this moment, we really only have bare bones, Charles. And what we'll discuss, I've pieced together from various European newspapers. We're not getting any sort of confirmation from police authorities other than that 2 people have been arrested, 2 are under investigation. Now, Ursula von der Leyen, who we just heard from, she's the president of the European Commission. And you may remember that she mentioned allegations against the vice president. And according to reports, one of the vice presidents of the European Commission, Eva Kaili, who is a member of the Greek delegation, also a member of the PASOK party in Greece, she has been arrested. Again, that's according to police report, or according to media reports, but it does seem as though Ursula von der Leyen did confirm that Ms. Kaili has been arrested. Now, the allegations seem to do with money being paid, something along the lines of $800,000 to Ms. Kaili and to a couple of other European parliamentarians and one ex-MEP. And the allegation is, it goes a little like this: Qatar was hoping to influence legislation, hoping to burnish its image. Now, what we don't know is whether there was any pro-Qatari legislation passed after these allegations of money changing hands. So we don't know as much as we do know at this point.
But we certainly know that Qatar is hosting the final week of the World Cup, and Qatar, of course, denies the claims. But it's not unusual, is it, Laurie, for foreign powers to try to influence EU policy and to try to use public debates in parliaments to improve their reputations?
Absolutely. And in fact, there's a whole industry that has grown up around this. It's called public relations. And many countries, particularly Middle Eastern countries, do rely on public relations firms to try and burnish their image in the rest of the world. The timing of this is certainly peculiar because we are so focused on Qatar right now, because we are so focused on the World Cup. And there were so many questions raised as to whether Qatar was the right place to host this event, given its record on human rights. Homosexuality is outlawed. Migrant workers are not treated particularly well, although it is worth saying that under scrutiny, Qatar has improved conditions for migrant workers, at least in relationship to other countries in the Gulf. So it isn't unheard of in any way for countries to try and pay to rehabilitate a reputation. But again, what I'm desperate to know, and we may never find out, is whether there was any pro-Qatari legislation that has gone through. We do know that the European Parliament was meant to debate a bill next week that would have allowed visa-free travel for Qatari residents into the European Union. That debate has now been shelved.
Right, let's move away from Qatar and turn to the UK, where you are. Some fairly strong economic figures, I understand, briefly.
Surprisingly strong, Charles. GDP rose by 0.5% in the month of October. That's way better than anybody expected. Now, there are a couple of little anomalies here. There was an extra bank holiday in September, which depressed GDP in that month, and some of that activity was pushed into October. But that doesn't account for all of that improvement. Construction was very strong. Car sales were very strong. Medical care very strong. On the other side, retail and hospitality still looking very, very poor.
Thank you very much indeed for that. Laurie Lard is Arise business correspondent, and she was talking to me there from London.